On this example, or these notes, we're going to solve equations, but we're going to have letters or our variables on both sides. So we're still going to go through those same steps. Let's start with drawing a line down our equal sign. Ask yourself, do you have subtraction? No. Do we have the distributive property? No. Do we have like terms where we could combine them on either side? No. So we're going to start to move. And our goal here is to get our letters together first. So I have a 5x on one side and I have a 2x on the other side. We want to get those together. We need to undo one of them to move them. I would suggest moving the 2. You can move the 5. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just picking the 2 for this example. It's a positive 2x. I want to move the whole term. So since it's a positive 2x, we're going to subtract 2x. Take the whole thing, the x and all. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. And so now what we have left is I have 3x. And did you notice I lined it up with its like term? Bring down your plus 2. 2x's minus 2x's cancels out. We moved it. That's perfect. Plus 14. And so now I have a two different operations, and we just need to undo this and solve for x. And so the opposite of that positive 2 would be take away 2. We want to get the x all by itself. And a positive 2 and a negative 2 is 0. We bring down our 3x on the left. And 14 take away 2 is 12. And we almost have our x isolated all by itself. And that inverse of 3x, remember it means, put the dot there, it means multiplication. Now we want to get the 3x, the 3 away from the x, and that inverse is divide. And when we divide by 3, we get x by itself, and x equals 4. So again, just going through our steps on how to solve these. Let's go ahead and look at example 2. Drew my line down the equal sign. No subtraction to change. No distributive property. No combined like terms on the same side of the equal sign. So here we just need to move. We need to get the p's together. And on this example, I would try to get the p that is closest to the plus 8 away from it. Remember, we want our p on one side and we want our constants or numbers on the other. So I'm going to start by the opposite of a positive 1 1/4 would be take away 1 25/100 p. Take the p with it. You're moving the whole term. It's a very common mistake. And when we move the entire term here, on the left-hand side, we have 25/100 p equals 8. And don't get freaked out that you have a decimal here. The process is the same. 25/100 times p, the inverse of multiplication, is division. So we're going to divide. Remember, we represent a fraction bar as division. Divide both sides by 25/100. And 25/100 divided by 25/100 just gives you that p by itself. And if you take 8 divided by 25/100, you get 32. Again, we showed you in the first couple lessons, you can check your work for all of these by substituting. We have one more example. Example 3 here, we have 2 open parentheses, 5x take away 1 close parentheses equals 3 open parentheses x plus 11. We've got a lot of steps to take care of here first. Let's start by drawing our line down our equal sign. Let's start by changing our subtraction to add a negative. So I've taken care of step 1 and step 2. Step 3 says apply the distributive property. I have actually the distributive property on both sides we need to apply. So let's start by multiplying our 2 by everything. 2 times 5 is 10, x, plus 2 times negative 1 is a negative 2. Remember, it needs to be multiplied by everything. Let's look at the right-hand side. I have the distributive property on the other side as well. And the 3 needs to be multiplied by everything. 3 times that is a 1 in front of x if it's not written. 3 times 1x is 3x plus, and 3 times 11 is 33. And now, do you have like terms on the left? No. Do we have like terms on the right? No. So we need to start to move. And the first thing I like to get together are my x's, or my variables. So I'm going to choose to move the 3x, it's a positive. The inverse, we're taking the entire term, would be to subtract 3x. I lined it up with my like terms on both sides, so my 3x minus 3x is 0. Let's go left to right now. 10x minus 3x, you get 7x. Bring down your plus negative 2. Put your equal sign. Bring down your 33. And we need to go ahead and now get the variable all by itself. It's a 2-step equation. And so the inverse of minus 2 would be add 2. Whatever we do to one side, we always do to the other. So I have a 7x on the left. 33 plus 2 is 35 on the right. I'm super close. We almost have the x by itself. Remember, that means multiplication. Let's put a dot between it so we know 7 next to x means multiplication. The inverse of multiply is divide. We can use a fraction bar. And when I divide both sides by 7, so plain old 1x is left, I get my answer for this one is a positive 5. X equals 5. Go through your steps, step 1 through step 5. Draw on your line, change your subtraction to addition so you don't accidentally mess up on a negative sign. And you guys are rocking it. Have a good one.